How you doing, everyone? Hi, Forbin and Robert and Joe. So, Joseph, whenever I see your name, I think close up. Okay, let's let me check, make sure the sound is okay and the video is all right. Everybody good on that? Oh, wow. Oh, you got your you already have everything set up. Happy holidays. Hey, Chaitan, how you doing, man? Okay, Robert, we'll start with you. Hamilton, Girard-Perregaux, Breguet. Okay. Maybe Panerai on mid-level. All right. Let's see what else you got. Sound and video are fine. Great. Hi, Jean-Luc. How you doing? How are things in Switzerland? Dominic, how are you? Good. Indrajit, hello. William, hello, William Jr. Good to see you. Mark. Okay. Hey Lee, how's it going? Things how are things shaking in fracking gold? Hobby. Wearing my JLC Reverso medium dual face small seconds on the brown Fagliano strap. Okay. I'm not familiar with that brand, but it sounds interesting. Hi, Giles. Giles from Holland originally, right? Okie doke, guys. What I thought we'd do this afternoon. Hi, Tim. Um, is to sort of, in a way, continue with what we started this morning. Um, this morning we were talking about the um, the types of watches you'd get. You know, if you say, okay, you're starting a collection, or you get one of these, one of these, one of these. I'd probably go with what I started with is sort of an office watch, a good everyday office watch, um, some kind of sports watch, and a GMT. Those would be my three. Each one has their own kind of work to it. With the office watch, I don't know whether it have a calendar in it or not. That I don't know. I'm sort of funny about calendars. I have no calendar on here. I wasn't sure whether I did or not. On the other hand, one of my newer watches that I really like, the Urban Jurgensen has a calendar, but I never use it. And on my Parmigianis, they have those the calendars with the three numbers of today, tomorrow, and yesterday. Well, I call them context menus. Anyway, poor guy and Patrick, good to see you. You aren't familiar with Jaeger-LeCoultre. Oh yeah, I'm familiar with Jaeger-LeCoultre. I even mispronounce it all the time. My wife has one. I got her a some years ago. I got her a Reverso, and I got her the original Reverso. That simply, when she goes to play polo, she won't get it banged up with a mallet. He meant the watch strap. Oh, okay. Yeah. I did mean the thank you, Hobby. I did mean the watch strap. Of course, I'm familiar with Jaeger-LeCoultre. I hope so. Anyway, okay, no. All right. So let's start. You got a guy who's just starting out. They don't have a lot of money. What would be some good watches you'd recommend? I know that earlier there were a number that Robert had. Robert had Hamilton, Girard-Perregaux, and Breguet. Robert, were those for entry level or what were they? Wasn't sure. And then maybe Panerai for mid level. that wouldn't be a bad one for mid-level, I don't think. Hey, Rancher, how you doing? Longines. Yeah, I like Longines too. Jaeger-LeCoultre as an assistant at Ava. They were on Green Acres. Mm. Parmigiani watches bang for the buck. I agree. Hi, John. Um, from Bonnie, Scotland. What's the non-Bonnie part of Scotland? The Gorbals? Oh, um, okay. So at the bottom level, at the entry level, I mean, somebody just starting, not a lot of money. What would be some good brands for them to look at? Nomos, I agree. Yeah, I would agree with Nomos. Nomos is a great entry level watch on a lot of different levels. They're well made. It helps if you're into Bauhaus. I'll put it that way. Hi, Thomas. Um, Oris. Yes, Oris. I like Oris. That's another good brand. There's one of the things when we talk about a lot of these brands, some of these brands have real range to them from, very inexpensive and maybe not the best insides in them to some fairly high ones. Omega is a good brand for beginners also, Oris. Jean-Luc, to me, Omega is more of a mid-level. That's just me though. But I do agree with it. Here's the problem. Here's my problem with not only Omega, but a lot of the watches that Swatch has. Swatch, Patek Philippe, and Rolex all went together in on some deal to get a hairspring, a silicon hairspring. Silicon hairspring compared to a metal hairspring is probably superior on just about every level. They're non-magnetic. They don't expand and contract with changes in weather. What else? Uh, basically, you put them in, you don't have to mess with them, and that's a good thing. But I don't. But not for the watches that I like. So if you have something that you're not crazy about, silicon in a watch, like I'm not, then you can look at a lot of these Omegas and anything by Swatch, Patek Philippe. Patek Philippe, you can if you find older ones that still have the Geneva seal, uh, then they're not going to have silicon. I think one of the reasons they split with the Geneva Seal didn't approve of silicon. Okay. What about one of the watches or one of the types of watches that I think would be great for beginners? These brands of watches that oh boy, and that's I can't think of any. They're German watches. They tend to have ETA movements, and then they're somehow fixed up in an interesting way that gives them more of a collector aura. Oh, come on, I got to think of one of them. There's I know where they were built. The one I'm trying to think of is from Nuremberg, but anyway, if these are some of the ones that I think might be good for a beginner because they have some interesting stuff about them and they don't have silicon in them. Hi, Truth Seers. Tissot gentlemen's. I agree with Tissot. I think a Tissot hand wound Tissot. I like those because they tend to have the great big old 6498, which is something you can see and play with. Entry level, forget brand for a moment and search for ETA 649798 or an ETA 2824. I would say an ETA 2892 A2. The 24s are fine. I like the A2s better. The 2892 A2s better because they're thinner. But essentially, they're pretty much the same kind of watch. Bauhaus. but really does not like okay, really not. All right, you're right, Mark. I don't. Damasco. Yeah, Damasco is one of those interesting brands. They did some really interesting stuff. I forgot what it was, but they have some really good stuff in there in them. Hanhart, they're the ones. Not Sin, but Hanhart would be one that has it. Nothing wrong with Sin, Mark. It just those weren't the ones I was thinking about. They're a whole bunch of them. I should have brought them up. Um, Rancher seemed he got some. We were looking at a whole bunch of them at one time. Forgot the names of them. But Hanhart would be one. There's one that starts with a C that's really interesting. Hi, Simucon Reviews. Great. Welcome. Mule Glashütte, I agree. That has a woodpecker regulator. Love that watch. Love that brand too. And that's one the Mule Glashütte is very much one that's overlooked, and I think it'd be a great one for somebody getting into it. Decla, I don't know of that one, Thomas. Hi, Harry Law. Entry level Blanc Pawn. Yeah, the entry level Blanc Pawn, if you can get one with a movement derived from Frederick Piguet, I agree. Again, I like I said, I'm just not a silicon fan. You can't adjust a silicon watch. Hi, Lease Time. How you doing? Oh, from Hamburg. How are things in Hamburg? Um, to collect vintage. Aha. What do you think about Ike Pod designed by Mark Newson? Boy, I don't know that much about him to have an opinion. Collect vintage. I really don't, but thank you. Yeah, John. Yeah, it is brittle, but yeah, so one of these days they may all break, and then they go, "Whoops." Any suggestions for an alternative strap for the Tissot Heritage Petite Seconde? The factory strap is not to my liking. You know, uh, boy, if you don't want to spend a lot of money on a strap, I got it right around here somewhere. Hang on a second. I have one of their cards. There's this company, I think it's called Panatime straps. And the thing about Panatime is is that um they're like 20, 30, 40 bucks a pop on them. I don't know. Oh, here it is. uh and I would recommend them. If you want to spend, if you get a, let's say you spend $400 or $500 on a petite seconde from Tissot, and then you get a Jean Rousseau uh, band for $300. You may have a band that's close to the price of your watch, but boy, it would knock one out of the park. Let me see if I can find this other. Um, yeah, I think it's called Panatime or Pantime. They used to make straps for Panerai. Oh yeah, it's called Panatime. Okay, Panatime, and you wanna I mean, you can find a lot of different straps. They have some good deals. They got different sizes and stuff. Um, I buy them a lot for the watches that I make. Let me see. Um, Here's an example. This is just one of my homemade jobs, and they're just cowhide, but you can get a lot of different kinds, and you can also get gator stamped bands as well, which is something that you can deal with. Let me write that down for you, okay? If you're interested in this, okay, they're called. There you go. Palatine. So that's one source. Um, Torby. Yeah, that's another one. Rancher that I was thinking of. Hi, Marzurio. Maz Maurizio. How you doing, man? Let's see. Okay, yeah, those that I think would be a good one. Did you have to assemble it? I don't know. It's like putting new wheels on a car. Excellent. Good point. In fact, it's like giving a car a new paint job. I mean, yeah, right. You have a new band, new watch. It would be great. Um, Okie doke. Panatime.com. There you go. Were you looking for circular? No, that's not it. No, there's another one. They really have incredible. They do a very good job on the engraving. Can't remember the name, but it's one of the German ones. Edox, Mito, Eterna, Dayfresh, good deals. Yeah, Eterna is one I think of all of those, seems to have the most interesting ones. Panotime brand is never spoken about. Not sure what that is. Um, Okie doke. Let me see. Philippe Picluc from Berlin makes great watches with ETA movements. The movements and dials are hand finished and engraved. Wow, yeah. Jean, Jean-Luc, that sounds like a great one. I am not familiar with that one, but it sounds really good. Hi, Beal. How you doing, man? Obese? Okay, 45 watching, only 14 thumbs up. You know, that's okay. Hey, Mark, uh, Junhan's Misers are going. Um, I agree. Junhan's, I'm not a big fan of the ones with one hand. Okay, they're fine and just not my thing. And for somebody starting a collection, I don't know. Okay, let's see. I recommend Indian HMTs for cheap starters. They have citizen manual wine movements in them. Oh, that sounds interesting, Chi-Town. Sounds very interesting. Chronoswith, yes. Chronoswith, I I'm never sure whether they're still making Chronoswiths or not. Along the same lines of one that we always wonder whether they're still in business is Volcane. Volcane has some great watches, and I think, especially on pre-owned, you can find some great deals on Volcanes. Um, Hi, Neff. Hey, Donald, how you doing, man? Hey, Neff. Yes. Okay, let's see. Meister singers, yeah, those are, yeah, they're not bad. I don't know, which maybe it's my eyesight isn't what it used to be, but, having because the minutes are really the little indexes between the hours on that big hand. Uh, Victronics. Grommel, I don't know what Victronics is more like almost like a fashion watch, in a way, because I don't think that their movement is exactly anything that they really put a lot of thought into. I think what their main thing was the Swiss Army knife connection between them, but there might be something good in there. I could be wrong. Let me know, okay? Hey, what, Nicholas? Um, what about the triple three E's for Eterna, Edox, and Epos? Okay, like I said, Eterna, I that one I probably know the best things about. Edox and Epos, I don't know that much about as far as like starting off. You've spoken about Steinhardt before, and they will often offer ETA 2892. Yeah, they've all gone to Solita like just about all of the other one. Steinhardt, the thing I've always liked about Steinhardt, you know exactly what you're going to get. They don't lie about their movements, and that I appreciate. Um, And, for a beginner, I don't know whether it's better for a beginner to pay a lot of money and get a, phony baloney movement and get mad at them, or it's better to know about it ahead of time and not do that. This is why I always get mad at Breitling and so forth. They've got their, I fill them up with ETAs and Solitas, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as you tell people what's in them, but they don't. And then supposedly they do all of this magic to them, and now they're a Breitling. I don't know. Um, Lots of edox of course. Well, we don't want to court one. Junior, yeah, Junior. I think that would be my problem with it too. Um, I ordered a watch from Philippe Pikulik for 3K, custom made engraving and the dial and movement and blued hands and screws, everything made by hand. Wow, that thing is that company really sounds good. Hi, Clam Walker. Orient is good starter auto. I don't know quite what to think of Orient. I know they're good buys. I mean, they're very inexpensive. But if it became between an Orient and like a Seiko 5, I'd go with the Seiko 5. That's just me. Maybe I got a lot I need to learn about Orient. Hey, Grommel. Combat Sub Airman is a very good and affordable start. Glycine. Okay. What did Glycine do? Glycine did something that was before everybody else, but everybody else got credit. Everyone but Glycine got credit for it. Hey, Beyond the Scent, how you doing? Seasons greeting. Have a question. When I manually wind my watch, the rotor keeps spinning, and it's very hard to wind using the crown. What do you reckon the problem is? I don't know. Uh, with my automatics, I don't have too many. What I do is I give it 40 winds. I just hold it in 40, and that's it. Um, I've never even noticed whether the rotor is going around or not. It could be, but I've never had that much of a problem with it. If you're really cheap and off the wall, Vostok. Um, yeah, the Russian watches, especially if you want to take up watchmaking. I got one with an alarm for 35 bucks on eBay. And it's the only alarm I ever got and probably ever will got because my hearing is so bad. It's always been bad, but with an alarm that you can't hear, you get your kicks when it starts vibrating. Casio Mudmaster is a pretty good entry level beast watch. That's another one I haven't heard of. That sounds interesting. I think, there's a lot of stuff I think in well, let me ask you this, poor guy, about Casio Mudmaster. Is that a quartz? Because one of the what is it? The G-Shock is one of the most famous watches around, but it's a quartz, and I was wondering if that's the same with Mudmaster. Um, the Airman 24-hour GMT. Is that a glycine, Neff? Okay, let's see. Okay, got on your Seiko 5 Junior. Mine's in the winder being wound right now. I can put that thing in a winder and grab it 10 days later and it's pretty spot on unless I've had, unless there's a change of the month and I can throw it off. That's about it. Um, I bet the ETA 2824 or Solita SW200. You have a gear issue, needs to go to a watchmaker. One of the things, this is something else. We talked about this morning somewhat, and I think there's not a bad idea for starting off. And when you start off in watch collection, is to take a course in watchmaking because it'll give you a better sense of what you have. And you know, that's the neat thing. Hey, Tuna, is that Tissot of yours? Is that the the Heritage, what's it called? The Heritage Petite Seconde, because that is one of my favorite watches. I recommend that all the time. Um, Hi, Emad, how you doing? Any Seiko diver? They're great. Seiko diver for a beginner, yeah. Um, hey, let's see. Washington football fan, how you doing? Anyone mention Oris? Yes, I have, and and I think it's a good recommendation for getting started. Not all mechanical. I know not your cup of tea. No, you're right. It's not. You don't have to hate every other watch. I don't hate silicon watches. I don't hate um, uh, quartz watches. I'm just not interested in them. That's what it comes down to. If I were, that'd be different, but I'm not. And if somebody likes to, hey, what I need, I take this to work every day. I really need accuracy, and so I'm going to get a quartz watch, or I'm going to get one that's got silicon in it. It's not going to magnetize. That's fine. I've got nothing against that. Not, it's just not what I want. And there's a difference, and I think that when the spring drive first came out on the Seiko, there was a lot of, what about that? Well, I think it's engineering wise is brilliant, but so's a smartwatch. I used to program those things, and it's has no mystery. On the other hand, the unwinding of a mainspring and the adjustments of a wired, we'll say, hairspring for regulation. I mean, that's something you can do. It's sort of interesting too. Now, do my watches get magnetized? You bet. And I got a big fat D mag in the back. But that's part of the hobby. Um, Clean the inverter wheels in alcohol. One for them, one for me. One that's the way to clean it. um, my favorite watch I own is my Oris Aquas. Yeah, they're great watches. Tissot PRS 516. Tuna, what's the common name for that? Is there, I don't, I get hit with all these numbers. I don't know what anyone's talking about. Um, uh-oh. My God, my time's up almost. Okay. Um, $408 on Amazon. I think you can do better on Joma Shop. Um, 1950 a piece. Now that doesn't sound right for a Petit Seconde. I'm not. Let's see, Oris. Yeah, okay, for an Oris, four new colors. There's one that fascinates me. God, now if I can only think of the brand. Ah, it's called Sync Aiguille, five hands, and can't remember who made it. I was just looking at them the other day, but that's another one that'd be sort of fun. Okay, doke, guys. Listen, yeah, I know my time is up, but I've got to go. But thank you for putting up with me for this afternoon, and thanks for the really great ideas. By the way, too, nasty COVID-19 is come roaring back, and the Omicron, the latest version, isn't as benign as a lot of people thought. So everyone be careful, okay? Get your booster if you haven't got it. Get your shot if you haven't got it. Take care of yourself. Anyway, until later, take care, everyone.